Welcome to Sandlot and the Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball. I'm your host, Will Kiger, a.k.a. Wrecking Yard Will. And we are live at the Wrecking Yard here in Torrance, California, beautiful South Bay. Next to me, I have former JUCO player at El Camino College, Division I player at UC Irvine, and is now in the White Sox organization. He's a coach here. We're lucky to have him here in the offseason, Taishi Nakawake. We have next to him owner-operator of Wrecking Yard Wrecking Crew, former Division I player and professional player Mason Morioka. And next to him, we have young coaching star on the rise. He played under Mason on the first ever Wrecking Crew team. He coaches here, helps out with the teams, Mr. Jake Hicks. Special shout out to our sponsors, South Bay Credit Union and Restore Hyper Wellness. Appreciate you guys. And today we're going to talk about some of the free agency moves that have been made and some of the biggest names that have not signed yet. So we're going to start off with right here in the hometown, LA, Mr. James Paxton, left-handed starter coming to the Dodgers. How do we feel about that? Mace, you want to go ahead, kick it off?
Absolutely. I love this sign. It's a veteran starter. It's a lefty. That's something that they sorely needed in that starting rotation. That was really heavy right-handed. Paxton I feel like is coming off of a down year. And historically, the Dodgers have done a really good job with a lot of these veterans kind of on the tail end of their careers, kind of refining themselves and, being contributors to a team that I think is going to go deep into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Jake, how are you feeling about this as a Twins fan?
I got to give credit where credit's due. I think it's a really smart move because if I remember correctly, the Dodgers kind of had this story before with the lefty, gone his tail end of his career from the Red Sox, David Price. So I just think he's only going to get better from here just because he's with the Dodgers. As much as I dislike the Dodgers and as much, I got to give credit where credit's due. They could get like a kid off the street, sign him to a contract, and they'd still win with that lineup. So, but yeah,
it's kind of an unfair advantage at this point. Let's clear something else up real quick because I'm interested to know, why are you a Minnesota Twins fan?
Okay, so
being from Torrance, California.
So I was a kid that I liked every team that my dad liked, right? So my dad was an Expos fan, and then they, disbanded or they resurfaced, relocated, whatever, and.
So all right.
All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
And then my dad played over here at West, and he knew somebody named Daryl Strawberry who got drafted, and they were really close, really good friends. And they all had a pact as a friend group, like, oh, we're all gonna like the Twins from now on, blah blah blah. He's the only guy that likes the Twins now. They all bail on him to become Dodger fans, which kind of gives me that hatred towards the Dodgers.
Smart fans. Okay. Yeah. All right, so there is some kind of backstory there.
Yeah, plus I love Joe Mauer. I'm a big.
It is a random team to just decide to be a fan. It's not like they have a ton of success, so I figured there's got to be.
No, yeah, if my dad did not know.
So you don't like the Dodgers, or you still somewhat of a Dodger fan?
I was never a Dodger fan, but I don't mind them. Like, we're not even in the same.
You don't hate
league,
them.
Yeah. Like, they're in the National, we're in the American.
Yeah, they compete for championships. Y'all just don't.
Yeah.
So
okay. And you know what? I'd rather do that than the American League. Says the guy that goes to the semis every year just to lose. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we won the World Series like a couple years ago. So calm down. Anyway, Taishi, how do you feel about James Paxton going to the Dodgers?
I like the move. Like Mason said, he's a veteran left-hander that we needed. And I think historically, like you said, the Dodgers do a good job of developing guys and helping them figure out things that they need to adjust as they get older to figure out how they can succeed moving forward. And I'm signed with the White Sox, but as a Dodger fan, I'm excited to see how far they can go this year.
Absolutely. That roster is loaded. Them bringing in another arm. They just brought in Tyler Glass now, another lefty. So now you got
righty.
Oh, he's righty?
He's
righty. I thought he was lefty.
No, he's a righty.
All right, I'm not a Dodgers fan. Calm down. Well, they got at least him, and don't they have one other lefty in that? Just one lefty in the starting rotation. Wow, so they really makes
they had
it
Kershaw. They had him for a long time.
They used to be really heavy. They used to have Kersh, Julio Urias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't beat your wife. Don't beat your wife. Kershaw, he's probably going to come back, yeah?
I hope
think in
so.
1 year?
I think that they're going to sign him late.
Yeah.
I think he's still deciding on whether or not he's going to try and come back this season. Mm-hmm. But as many people in LA, I'm sure know, he's not going to end his career the way he finished, this past postseason.
Exactly. I don't see him going out on that note. There's no way. He's too much of a competitor. Yeah. I think he's still a great arm. And with the Dodgers' depth in their rotation, I mean, a lot of people are saying they're going to have a 6-man rotation, so he could get some rest. He could, they could do some things to kind of help him out.
And I really think that would be wise.
I think
for the Dodgers to have a 6-man rotation. You've got Yamamoto, who is used to probably throwing 1 time a week,
right?
As opposed to here in the United States, where there's a potential he's going to throw 2 times a week. Just depending on when his start dates land. But in order to keep these young arms healthy, these veterans that are injury prone healthy, I think it would be the best decision to see them go to a 6-man rotation.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Paxton, I was watching MLB Network, and they had his splits last year. From the first half of the season, he was phenomenal. Like, he put up really, really good numbers, and then he had a very bad second half. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see if he can kind of rekindle that first half and take that through the whole year. But, yeah, just having that much run support, having that many pitchers in the rotation, I think is going to help him out, and is definitely a good move for the Dodgers.
And I think on top of that too, Will, where he was at with New York last year.
Yeah, I believe so.
Or the Mariners, something like that.
I think it was the Yankees.
No, the Paxton, James Paxton.
Yeah,
he's a Red Sox.
He was the Red Sox.
He was the Red Sox last year, all year long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even know who's in that rotation other than Evaldi, but. If he's the 2 or 3 in that rotation, I mean, he's coming over to the Dodgers here. He's probably going to be the 4 or 5 in this rotation,
Six.
behind a Walker Buehler, Tyler Glass now, Yamamoto. I mean, shoot, next year when they get Shohei Ohtani back,
Bobby Miller,
Dustin May,
Bobby Miller. I mean, the list goes on and on.
It's absurd.
So I mean, again, there's a lot less pressure, for James Paxton to be successful here in LA.
Yeah. Well, and everybody else.
That
too.
should help
Dustin
him out.
May, he just got hurt. That's going to put less pressure on him also. Like, these guys are going to be so pressure free to be able to pitch. Like, there's a lot of pitchers out there that got to feel all that pressure because they're the best on the team. Now it's like pressure's free.
Yeah, nobody has to be a hero on the Dodgers, offensively or defensively. Let's move on.
That's why I think they should sign Kershaw too, as a clubhouse presence and a veteran. Like, he can help a lot, even with veteran guys like that. Like, he's been there and done that through the regular season, postseason, so he can help the young guys as well as the veteran guys get
100%.
through the full season. If they have any questions to bounce off of him, like, he's a perfect guy.
I agree.
To use that as a.
I agree. He seems like the kind of guy that even when he retires, that like the Dodgers would be like, "Hey, come be a ambassador, or be in the be
100%,
here." Like
100%.
your presence and that veteran leadership, your experience is invaluable. So. All right, Josh Hader finally signing, going to the Astros. What was the deal, Mace?
5-year, $95 million. Yeah, just set the record for highest paid reliever at $19 million annual.
$19 million a year, more than some starters are getting. So I mean, good for him. He got the bag. He's had the bag, but once again, and he goes to a contender. The Houston Astros are always a very good team. Now they bring in a dominant closer. But I saw in Josh Hader's, in his negotiations, some of the things he wanted was he didn't want to have to get more than 3 outs, and he didn't want to have to pitch 3 days in a row. So I don't think those details have been released, but I'm interested to know if the Astros agreed to that and gave him all that money, or if they're like, look, here's a shit ton of money, but dude, you're going to have to pitch 3 days in a row, or you're going to have to get more than 3 outs. So what do we think about the Josh Hader move?
I think with the deals that he wanted, I don't think that the Astros are going to be hurt by that because how deep their bullpen is. Especially like for a guy that you're signing to come in to close games, you'd rather have him pitch maybe 2 days in a row max and shut those 2 games out, sit out a third, have someone else come in. And like the games that he pitches, like you definitely want him to close those games out. And if he needs to rest in order for that to happen, like I think with the depth that they have, like they'll be able to do that.
Absolutely.
I think we have a coach here that thinks extremely highly of Mr. Hader. He claims that the Astros are going to win 2 World Series in his 5-year tenure.
Oh yeah, Mr. Taylor Felipe,
which
said
I think is absolutely absurd. The Astros are solid. They're going to be a postseason team,
right?
And who's to say they won't get hot and go win one? But I don't think that Josh Hader is going to be the X factor in that bullpen. You know, I think he's going to be really solid for them, but is he the key missing piece that the Stros were missing to win a World Series? And I don't think that answer is yes.
I'd agree with that
agree
for
with
sure.
that too.
Jake, what do you think about Josh Hader going to the Astros?
I mean, I kind of agree with Taishi over there. Like that not only their pen, but their staff is so strong, and they got like Frankie, and they got Verlander still, and they got all these guys that like can go 7, 8, 6, depending on how good their day is. I think Tay's out of his mind. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think they'll make one World Series in the next 3 years, but I don't think they'll win. How are you going to beat the Dodgers? Like I don't. You know, I don't think the Dodgers are going to win every World
Well,
Series.
one
in
thing,
years,
you know,
but-
we were talking about how no one on the team needs to be a hero, but at the same time, there's going to be no team in Major League Baseball with more pressure on them when the postseason comes around.
100%.
100%.
And pressure can bust
100%.
pipes. It can make diamonds, but it can bust pipes. So it's
100%.
like when you start feeling a little tight and you're not loose, and it's all the expectation. You go out, lose game 1. Oh, the Dodgers are. You know what I mean? It can. So.
See, but look at Yamamoto in the World Baseball Classic. He doesn't. To me, Yamamoto's a robot, and so is Shohei. Like those guys are just robots. They don't feel pressure. Shohei had to go out there and close the game out against his teammate, who's one of the best of all time. So I think that these guys are talented, but the guys that they signed, I don't think they feel pressure. Especially if they can re-sign Kersh, I think that presence will also.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers are no doubt the World Series favorite. Them and the Braves at this point, I feel like is the two-headed monster. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. Another interesting move is Marcus Stroman going to the Yankees with his shuffle brother Juan Soto. They've apparently squashed the beef now and are besties. So I think that's an interesting move. I think it's good for Stroman. You know, he seems like a kind of guy who loves the spotlight. He wants to shine. He wants to have the moment. You know, he's kind of later in his career. He had some amazing performances last year, and then he had some that weren't so good. So if he can get back in that spotlight and rekindle some of that magic, that could be really good for him and the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is good for him, and I hope he does succeed as a Yankee, but I don't know if it helps the Yankees that much within this 2-year tenure. Like, I think it's better for him than the Yankees.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, Stroman to me in the past 4 years has been a flip of a coin. You know, you're not sure what Marcus Stroman you're going to get. You know, you might get the guy that goes 7 innings of shutout or 1-run ball, and you might get the other guy who throws 4 and gives up 6. You know, but I do think you hit it on the head, Will, where I think that guy loves the limelight.
Yeah.
I think he loves being in that spotlight. And I think that's where he performs the best, So I think that this is a good move for both parties. I think both for Stroman and for the Yanks. It gives the Yanks another veteran arm, someone in the clubhouse with a little bit more energy, so to speak, than, a guy like Kershaw, for example.
Right.
And I think for a younger team, especially a younger offensive team and a highly talented young offensive team, having some veteran pitching, I think can kind of calm that down and give it some balance.
Absolutely. Jake, what are you thinking?
I mean, based off of his last year, I like to base guys off their last year, and I do agree with you. He's a very, you don't know what you're going to get. But, I mean, him last year, I think he had a way better year if he was surrounded by better offense, right? And now with the Yankees, you had last year's offense plus Juan Soto. That's scary. But I also agree. I 100% agree with Taish. And what I was going to say was I think that he's going to get more wins now. He might even get more strikeouts due to confidence, but I don't think the Yankees can go out there and beat a team like the Astros in the postseason or beat the Twins for sure. But you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think they'll be good. But I mean, they're the Yankees. They're not. Last year was pretty bad. But
Yeah, last year was awful.
I don't see them being bad that
bad.
long though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the Yankees do this year. They've
Yeah.
made some moves. They've typically been good the last few years, so I think they'll bounce back and have a solid year.
Yeah.
Let's go to some of the guys who are still yet to sign, some of the biggest names out there right now. There's still Matt Chapman, Cody Bellinger, Jordan Montgomery, and Blake Snell on the market, not to mention Trevor Bauer, who put up good numbers in Japan. It's been shown that that chick was a total psycho, lied on him. So I think he finds a spot. Where do we think Cody Bellinger is going to land, and why is it taking him so long to sign?
I think that it's where he's going to be comfortable. I think he really found a home in Chicago this past year. It's a mid-market team. It's not a high market team. So it's not the Yanks. It's not the Dodgers. And the Cubs are young and they're competitive. And I just think, right there in Chicago for him, I think that's just the right fit.
Absolutely. I agree. I said before on an earlier episode, I think he should stay in Chicago. Like, why fix what ain't broken? You just went in and literally increased your batting average by like 100 points.
Yep.
Had a great year, hit over 300. Obviously, is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. Where else are you going to go? Like, the Cubs is a good organization with winning history. You playing in not Fenway. Wrigley is absolutely a historic ballpark. So I think it makes a lot of sense for him to stay right there. Maybe it's taken so long to sign because they're working on some kind of multi-year deal and there's a lot of negotiations. I know there's been speculation about the Blue Jays, even the Yankees, because his dad was a Yankee. Taishi, what do you think about Belly?
I kind of agree with Mason. I think a comfortability thing for him is a big, considering he had ups and downs with the Dodgers, and like he's not going to shine away from the limelight. When I think the Cubs have a chance to be a contender, but I mean, he went to the Cubs and had a great year, and it's shown that he's made adjustments and found it comfortable for him to play every day and be a star outfielder there. And he said, "I just wouldn't fix what's not broken unless he's chasing money." Like, if I was him, I would stay with the Cubs.
I mean, he is a Boris guy.
Yeah.
He is a Boris guy. So
maybe
But the
he's
Cubs
one,
got deep pockets. It's not like they don't have money to spend. I mean, the Cubs can spend it.
But
So
maybe they just don't want to give him the number that he's looking for.
yeah,
mean,
I could see
It's all
that.
speculation.
I
But
could see that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mace?
I already said my take. Go
Okay,
ahead,
Jake.
I think I think he was hoping to be a Dodger again. To me, that's why I think he was holding out. But I think he's kind of like the Dodgers. You got to pick. I mean, Teoscar's a. I think he saw them take Teoscar. There you go. All that money to Yamamoto, Shohei, obviously, like they get all these guys, and I think like he's kind of like, damn, like all right, I can't go there. Next option, I think he would be smart to go back to the Cubs, or even stay in Chicago and go to the White Sox. That's a team that kind of
The
backed
White
up.
Sox.
Yeah, I think it's random, but I mean, I don't know. I think he'd be good under that, but I don't.
Dude, the Sox are trash.
Yeah, I think you'd rather stay with the
Yeah,
Cubs.
go
for
to a
sure.
contender.
I don't. The Cubs are
Weird take by Jake right there.
I don't think he'll go. I don't think he'll go to the White Sox.
Well,
But I would like to see him.
All right, you're gonna have to sit out on the next round. For that take. I'm just kidding. But for him, it's like, why the hell would you want to come back to LA? Like, you were awful there the last couple years. You go to the Cubs, you're phenomenal. Stay there.
Yeah.
Like, to me, just stay there. Yeah. But let's move on. We got a couple more to hit. Let's go to the biggest prospect on the market at this point. NL Cy Young winner last year. He's won a Cy Young in the AL. One of the few players in Major League history to ever do that. Mr. Blake Snell. What do we think? I know, Mason, you have some strong thoughts on Blake Snell and his why it's taking him so long, and is that good or bad for him? And so I want to hear some of that.
I think it's bad for him. From what I've read so far, he wanted a longer deal than what the Yanks offered. I think they offered him something right around $25 million annual, I think for 6 years or something like that, which I thought was a really good deal for him. That's him pitching into, year 38 of his life, with the thought that, he's probably going to lose some velocity, lose some of his stuff a little bit, as he ages. But I think that, Taishi and I were talking about this before, we started this one, but, I think if he goes for like a 5-year, $30 million kind of deal, I think, there's going to be a lot of teams that would want that. But, again, being a Boris guy, I think he's looking for 7, 8, 9 years. And again, at that $30 million mark, or if not higher.
I think he wants higher. And I mean, I think he deserves it, honestly. If you look at Max Scherzer getting $43 million a year, Justin Verlander getting $40 million a year, and these are old cats. It's like Blake Snell's only 31. He just won a Cy Young. This dude deserves 35 to 40 million a year, and I think he's just not going to settle for less than that. I don't know if he's looking for a long-term deal or maybe he's looking for just 2-3 years somewhere. Give me 35, 40 mil. I'll go get another contract after that.
I would say he should go for the less amount of years, more money if that's what he wants. Because, like you said, teams aren't going to want to take a chance of signing him for 7 to 9 years, considering, like you said, he's 31, right? He gets to the 38 to 40 range. Like, he's going to lose his stuff in velo. Like, if he's going to go to a team, he might as well go to a contender, get close to the money that he wants, and, like, try to win rings in those 5 to 6 years that, you know, he may want.
Where do you think he might end up, Taishi?
Honestly, I have no idea. But
At this point, I'm the same.
yeah.
I have no idea where he might land.
I think any team will be lucky to have him, though, and I think he'll make a great contribution.
Dear baby Jesus, don't let it be the Dodgers.
But
Please, God.
There'd be something wrong.
We can't handle it anymore.
There'd be something off.
We
If they're able
can't
to sign
handle
him,
it, bro. That would. Oh my God.
I do have one point of contention with Taisha's answer. If he signs like a 2 or 3 year deal, you know, now we're looking at him as what, 33, 34, 35 years old, and now looking for a new contract at that age. You know,
He'd have to have a really good 2 or 3 years as
100%,
well. Because if
you
you
know?
have 2 good years, the third year you suck, now you just put yourself in trouble. So I feel like at this age, he probably is looking for 6, 7 at
something
least.
that he's going to be secure,
Right.
you know, into these, you know, mid 30s, later 30s. You know, I think he's looking for a longer term deal. But, you know, to Taisha's point, if he's looking for the money, sign a shorter deal where you're getting more money for it. You know, but again, now you're gambling on yourself. Right. You know, so you've got to perform in these 2, 3, 4 years that you're signing this contract for. You know, so that way at 33, 34, 35 years old, you know, he's able to sign another one that's going to be around, we'll call it 20 to 25 mil a year.
Right.
You know, probably another 3, 4 year deal, you know, looking now late into his 30s. You know, so I think that's really a double-edged sword for Mr. Snell.
Yeah, and I don't know how these guys even live on 25 mil a year. You know what I mean? Like, how do you even
hard.
survive
It's
on
hard.
that?
It's a hard life.
Broke boys out here living in trash cans. And Jake, what do you think about Blake?
I don't think he should sign for a longer-term deal with. I mean, the 35 to 40. I mean, he had he had his good year. Yeah, he's had good years, but that was his best year last year, right? So it's kind of like if Stroman would have went out there and been like, yeah, I want like 45 million, 40 million, like give me all that, like. But I don't know. I think he goes back to the Padres because now they have that boatload of money. Soto's gone. They have a good amount of money. If he signs back with the Dodgers, I'm not a baseball fan anymore. I'm going to be a football hardcore fan. It'd be ridiculous.
Guy, did you see that the Padres, like, I think
There's bad
there was
blood
a
there,
loan.
isn't there?
There was a loan that the Padres had to take out because they were over the luxury
that
tax.
too.
I think it was like something like
didn't know that.
500 million
Yeah.
or 50 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So-
I don't think he goes back there. I think, and this kind of segues into our next pitcher, is I just thought about this. I mean, what if he went to the Rangers and replaced Jordan Montgomery, another lefty arm? They got the money. They just won a World Series. That's an interesting one. I could see the Yankees. I could see the Cubs. I could see the Mariners even. He went to Washington. So, yeah, I think those are probably maybe the Phillies. I don't know. But what do we think about Jordan Montgomery, lefty stud from the Rangers?
I think he stays. I mean, why not?
Stay there.
Kind of like the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why not stay with the World Series champs? Especially, I think it's a team that's only going to get better.
I wouldn't be eager to leave that team.
No,
why
hell
would
no.
you be?
I wouldn't be either, but I think he's another guy that deserves a good free agent deal. So if they're not going to give him what he wants, I'm sure he'll go and, you know, search the market.
See, but I also think the pitch repertoire between those two are completely different. You know, Montgomery's a sinker guy. He's a soft contact kind of guy. He's not a wipeout, strikeout guy. You know, so you know, we kind of saw it. You know, not too far back, but Mark Burley, right? Mark Burley, as he aged, you know, ball started getting up in the zone a little bit, and he just started getting tattooed. You know, so I have a feeling something like that has the potential to happen to Jordan Montgomery. You know, I think he's a mid-rotation arm, a very reliable mid-rotation arm. You know, but with that being said, he can have that down year where, you know, with the guys that have velo like Blake Snell, you know, at least right now, he can go out and dominate a team. Whereas I think Jordan Montgomery isn't necessarily going to dominate a team. I feel like a team is probably going to get themselves out by swinging at pitches, you know, just a little bit outside of the zone, you know, where, you know, he's catching balls off the end of the bat. Or getting in on the hands a little bit, you know, but he's not going to have games where he's got, you know, 7 to 12.
He's more of a weak
strikeouts.
contact guy,
100%.
where Snell's a swing and miss kind of guy.
Yep. But again, with Snell, you know, you get a lot of walks.
True. But I mean, that playoff and World Series performance by Montgomery just made that stock go through the roof.
Oh, 100%.
So and now that you got the ring, like Taishi's saying, go get the bag, you know, because I don't think he's been as paid, and you got the ring, and he could probably get a bag and still go to a contender. So, Jake, what do you think? Where do you think he might land? And
I already said, I think he's going to go to the Rangers. I think he's going to stay.
Oh,
But
yeah,
my
that's
question is, do you think if they do go out there, sign, I know you're not going to like this, but if they go out there and sign the hometown kid Kershaw, do you think that intrigues him, or do you think that makes him kind of back off and say, well, okay, well, you...
You're talking about the Rangers signing Kershaw?
Yeah. Like, do you think that entices him, or do you think that makes him go...
he's from from Texas or
Kershaw?
what?
Kershaw,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Kershaw.
Okay.
Those are the two teams. Those are the two, or retire.
I don't. No, he's going to be a lifelong Dodger. I don't.
I
think
hope
there's
so, too.
no way he leaves. There's no.
hope he
I
does.
like. I would be shocked if he. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, but if this would be the perfect time to leave, you got the hometown team that just won the World Series. They're only going to get better. I mean, if there was
But how
a
much
time-
does that taint your legacy to just leave your team in your last year to go to the team that just? First of all, the Dodgers. I mean, that team right now is unreal. You also had an abysmal playoff performance that I know he wants her down. Kershaw's going to stay in LA, but we got like one more I think we can get through if we're quick. We got to be quick fast.
Chapman?
Yeah, Matt Chapman, Gold Glove third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bat hasn't been as great as it could be, but like I said, Gold Glove third baseman. He's got a pretty decent on-base percentage. He's very selective at the plate. He's a professional hitter. He's a veteran. He brings the clubhouse presence. Does he stay with the Blue Jays, or where does he end up?
I have no idea what's gonna happen to him, but I'm a pretty big Matt Chapman guy. So wherever he goes, I hope he gets a fairly good deal, what he wants. I mean, you're gonna get a good glove no matter what. It's just whether the stick comes to play or not. But I mean, at the worst, you get a clubhouse presence guy with lockdown defense every day.
Was he hurt last year?
I don't know.
I don't
Honestly,
think
not
so.
sure.
But
So
to
just
me, I think it could be somewhat of a Cody Bellinger case where you get that guy in a new environment and maybe that bat comes back alive. And then you get him for a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that in Toronto though, he had bats around him. You know, he had Vlad Guerrero Jr.
He really struggled, though.
Bichette.
Vlad was bad last year. He
Yeah,
did not
but
have a good
even
year.
so, but
Yeah.
he's got the protection
No,
around
he
him,
does,
you know.
yeah.
So in my opinion, if a big market team were to go after Chapman, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get him at somewhere between, you know, let's call it 12 mil and 25 mil a year. For a guy that hit, you know, 240 last year, I think he had 17 bombs and like 60, 70 RBIs, you know. So for him, I know that's a really down season. You know, because I think historically or career-wise, he's about a 250 guy, has hit over 20 home runs and, you know, around the 100 RBI mark. You know, I think that was also in Oakland where he really didn't have much protection there.
Yeah.
You know, so I truly believe that if Chapman gets picked up by a contender and still has that protection around him, I think he could potentially have a really kind of breakout season in 24.
Yeah. Jake, you got about 10 seconds to say something.
Oh
if
my
you
God.
want.
Okay. Two things. One, I think if the Blue Jays miss out on him, that's a huge lot because they were surrounded by all these rumors of getting top free agent after top free agent after top free. They missed out on all of them, and if they miss out on Matt Chapman, it's gonna be really bad for their organization. But I think an interesting team to go get him is Arizona. All right, you just made the
Evan
World
Longoria
Series.
was there last year.
Exactly. Yeah, you got an older third baseman. Why not go out there and spend some money on him?
Yeah.
I like that take.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good take there. All right. Good takes, everyone. I really like that segment. That was good stuff. I think when we come back, we might touch on the Hall of Fame selections and who didn't get in. So you're listening to Sandlot and the Crew, where Sandlot radio show meets Wrecking Yard baseball and softball. I'm your host, Will Kiger, Taishi Nakawake, Mason Morioka, Jake Hicks. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.